Welcome back to the Tech Zone. I am Paul Amadeus Lane, your czar of technology. And I guess you could put entertainment in there too. We got some huge announcements we are going to make about another feature to the Tech Zone brand that we will be debuting ASAP. So you got to stay tuned. Follow me. Go to my website, paulamadeuslane.com. Make sure you subscribe to all my social media platforms out there so I can keep you informed. I am so stoked. You know why? If you are watching right now, this is why I'm stoked. This is the website to Comic-Con 2017 in San Diego. I'm happy to announce that I will be covering it for this is my 6th straight year that I will be covering Comic-Con. We'll be in various press rooms, broadcasting live there by, compliments of our friends over at LiveView. So you don't want to miss any of the coverage. Again, remember, you got to subscribe to me to find out. We're going to be talking to some people from some of the hit shows that you like out there. And if you're looking for a good, credible source to go and find out information and write-ups about a lot of shows out there, I'll introduce you to this website right here. This is the Hollywood News Source website. And on this site, you can find many write-ups about a lot of the hit shows out there, some films, you name it. I had an opportunity to meet the editor-in-chief of the Hollywood News Source a few years back at WonderCon in Los Angeles. And she and I hit it off over the years. We always love seeing each other at the events. It's like a family reunion when we see each other. And I'm so happy to have her join me right now to talk about Comic-Con 2017 and some of the things that we are looking forward to covering and some of the great things you can check out on our website too. You heard the introduction I gave her. Joining me right now, Miranda Kuhl. She is the owner, editor-in-chief of Hollywood News Source, a great outlet to check out all the things that are going on with certain shows. Miranda, how you doing, my dear?
Good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and I'm so happy that you decided to join me and take me up on this invitation because I follow your work, follow the site, some of the great writings when it comes to different shows out there. And you guys cover a lot of shows on your website.
We do. We try to, yes.
And it's interesting. I always go back to technology. If the technology didn't exist today where we can put these things out on a website, on a blog, how in the world would people be able to read all the stuff that
They wouldn't. They definitely wouldn't. I think, and too, with technology advancing so fast, a lot of shows are now coming to fruition that wouldn't have been possible years ago.
That is so true. And at Comic-Con, since we're going to talk about Comic-Con, I remember last year I had a chat with Jay Firestone, who's the executive producer of Dark Matters. And he and I was talking about, how much they worry about ratings now. And they say they worry about them, but then with the advent of like Netflix catch up and on demand viewing, that a lot of people are not as scared as they were before when it comes to ratings when they come out, because all they look at is see, hey, how many downloads we have or how many people watched it online. And that's why I think a site like yours is truly amazing, because when you guys write up these different reviews or stories about the different shows that you guys cover, let's say if someone didn't watch Supergirl, but they looked at an article on your website and they're like, you know what? I want to watch this. Now they can go back, watch on demand, go back to season 1, and now find out what you guys were talking about when you guys wrote up the report.
Yeah, exactly.
So we know Comic-Con is coming up 2017. I know you and I met, I think it was WonderCon. You and I met at WonderCon.
We met at WonderCon, yeah.
Yeah, in Los Angeles, and we were in the room with DC Legends of Tomorrow and also the 100. We sat at the same table. You were so cool. I picked up some of your, your habits in the good way of covering things and asking questions or writing down certain things. So I bit your style a little bit, but you're okay with that, right?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Share my style.
Awesome.
You're sweet.
Awesome. Well, we know that Comic-Con is coming up. What are some of the things that you are looking forward to? We know that we have Each day we've been getting an email or a blast about some of the things that are going to be there. So what is one or a couple of things that you're looking forward to?
I love The Big Bang Theory personally, so I'm excited that this year they're actually bringing a panel with cast members, and it's announced. Usually they'll do a writers panel, and we have some surprise cast members, but it's not officially announced. But this year is different. They've announced a full panel. It's in Hall H. So that's one show that I'm super excited for. And I love Riverdale. I'm totally addicted to Riverdale. I know we've spoken about it too. And I'm so excited for Riverdale as well.
And you know what? And that's one of the things that how Comic-Con has changed over the years. You know, before it was just a comic book convention where you can go check out and get that vintage comic. But now we know what they've done back several years ago was bring different shows there so people can find out, meet the cast, they can talk to the cast. And one of the challenges, like when we're in the press rooms and we're finding out certain things that are going on, sometimes, you know, the talent is kind of like, they're pleading the fifth because there's only so much they can say without getting in trouble. You know, and it's so funny. I remember when I covered the 100, Fallen Skies. It was when Fallen Skies first came out, and it was WonderCon. And I remember we were there with the guy who played Hal, and we were talking to him. He was looking like this, like, he was like, hey, so, you know, tell us something about your character. What's going on? He was like, looking around. I was like, dude, just blink one time if we need to rescue you here, or let us know if we need to break you out. But it's always funny because the talent can't really divulge certain things.
Right, and Comic falls at such kind of an in-between time. So usually for most of the shows, they've wrapped their one season. They're in the middle of the upcoming season, and they usually can't really tell as much. It kind of poses a challenge for us journalists, too, to come up with questions that they can, in fact, answer.
That is so true. So how do you kind of deal with that, you know, when it comes to writing? Because we give a report of what's happening at these events like WonderCon and Comic-Con. How challenging is that to write something that maybe has not been revealed, or you can a spoiler? What are some things that you do in that kind of situation?
Well, it is a challenge, definitely. I think, you know, because usually we want answers, or we want hints about what's to come, and usually they can't tell as much. So, you know, we try to creatively ask questions that will give them an opportunity to tell us something, but not getting them in trouble. So, but that is definitely a challenge for writing up what we learned.
It's kind of fun getting people in trouble sometimes because when they slip, they're like, please, you know, you have to omit that. Please don't put that in the story. Please don't report about it. And we're like, we won't. And then, but you know, we're cool like that. We listen to them. We don't put it on blast like that, right?
Most of the time.
There you go. Wink, wink, right? Wink, wink.
Wink, yeah.
And looking at your site, looking at it right now online. And some of the things that you guys bring up in for the different shows and everything, how important it is as an owner and editor-in-chief to vet those things, to make sure that they're accurate and that it's really, you know, it's speaking truth to power and not trying to sugarcoat certain things.
I mean, it's very, very important to me. I think my website in particular, I'm very positive on my website. I don't really like to post a lot of negative views of things. I always say that I'm a terrible reviewer personally because I just have too much conscience about it. I think, you know, even if something you viewed was terrible, someone else is going to love it, and I wouldn't want someone else not to see something just because I didn't like it. And I think, too, with reviews, it's tricky because a movie wasn't meant for you, or you weren't the target audience. So that's why, you know, I wouldn't want to necessarily critique something super harshly. I think it's important to, if you dislike something, you can absolutely say why you disliked it, but also say something, you know, like, this wasn't really for me, but if you like X, Y, and Z, you should definitely check this show out. So that's just always been important to me in my website, but I know a lot of people are different, and a lot of people are more outspoken about things that they dislike. But personally, that's just not how I operate. But everyone to each his own.
That's not how you get down, right?
Nope. Nope.
Absolutely. And I like, that's why I like that approach, because sometimes we can shape people's opinions. And let's say you might like chocolate chip ice cream. I love chocolate and peanut butter ice cream. So why in the world would I try to get you to like chocolate and peanut butter when you like chocolate chip ice cream? So, it's all a matter of preference. So in the writing style, that's what I really, really appreciate about that. And when it comes to covering events like Comic-Con, how fast do you guys need to get the story out? Because it's, over 1,000 journalists there, from print to television to radio, you name it. How fast, to get that content out there? Or you don't really worry about how quick it is. You just worry about how interesting and how accurate it is.
That's a tricky question, because it's a little bit of both. And we have, I have a couple other reporters joining me too at Comic-Con. And I always say, try to get it up quickly, but, make sure you're enjoying your time at Comic-Con, and make sure you're, still sleeping at even the challenge at Comic-Con. There's just so much going on. But like you said, it's a quality versus quantity thing. And do you want to just get up all your stories quickly so you're those first hits, because you are going to get more traffic that way? Or do you want to make sure you have the time to digest the material and post it in a more accurate way? It's kind of like, it's a tricky balance to achieve.
And something that really baffles me now at Comic-Con is just how the networks are they're going all out. We know that the WB, they're going to have about almost 12 or 13 of their shows there, from the 100 to Arrow to Flash, DC Legends of Tomorrow. You mentioned Big Bang Theory. They're going to have Teen Titans. They're going to have all these different shows there. But then I look over at Sci-Fi. They're going to have 12 Monkeys, the musicians. They're going to have all these other ones. And as a journalist, it's kind of hard for us to say, okay, let's go here, let's go there. And you're smart. You got two other people that you can send out to these different assignments out there. But for some of us who are sending like a small crew out there, it really makes it kind of difficult. And when it comes to covering things, even with a 3-man crew that you're going to be out there with, you can't cover everything. So how do you choose what to cover?
It's really, really difficult. You try, luckily this year we have 3 people covering for us, so that's really helpful. But sometimes you do have to kind of make those Sophie's choices, especially on Saturday, because everything is on Saturday this year. But yeah, I think you just kind of look at what you want to cover, like what best that you're going to do a better job of covering. And then also there's shows that are more popular on our website than others. So, obviously we can prioritize those shows too. That's really helpful. We just try to cover as much as possible, but it's hard, very, very hard.
It is. And I'm looking at now, like even Amazon is now having a presence there. I think a few years ago, they started out, and then last year they had the Man in the High Castle that they debuted. And I think this time they're going to have the Tick, and it's another show they're going to have. Then Netflix is going to be there. AT&T, AT&T now with their different shows, they're going to be there. So you see all these different networks and all these different companies out there are really trying to get the message across, and that makes our job as journalists so important, because some of these shows won't last 5 or 6 episodes, so they need us out there to spread the word about some of these new shows out there. Because I remember at WonderCon, I covered Imaginary Mary, and with Jenna Jeffers, and I thought it was a pretty cool show. And I was like, hey, this show may last, but then it only lasts about 8 or 9 episodes, and it got cut. So it's like, as journalists, we have to spread the word out there about different shows. But again, we're not just going to spread the word and say, hey, watch this, and it's no good. So I kind of like I said, I like your approach, because it's like, I wasn't too crazy about it, or it didn't work for me. But if you like XYZ, then this is your show right there. What's been some of the feedback that you've gotten from some of your subscribers and the visitors at your website?
Yeah, I think that's the majority of the feedback that we get too. There's certain, with anything, there's certain YouTube videos of celebrities in roundtable interviews that have just gone crazy, and the comments are usually. I really like the Bughead video on my YouTube. Actually, has gotten a lot of comments and a lot of traffic, and people will post on there 402, the way he looks at her, 419. Oh, this expression they made. It's just really cute. But yeah, we get a lot of feedback. It's usually, it's usually when it's negative on my YouTube videos, it's I can't hear, and I'm like, I'm sorry. It's a loud press room.
Yeah, and that's true. That's one of the things that since we have integrated video now, we moved over to the video line in certain press rooms. But you're right, in that round table, and Miranda and I, we're gonna keep it real with you for a second. There's always seemed to be somebody at that press round table that just don't leave the chicken on the plate for nobody else. They just take all the chicken and mashed potatoes and greens and eat it all themselves. And when it comes time for us to ask a question, we can't even ask a doggone question. And Miranda, I've gotten to the point, if I see a particular person there, I won't even sit at their table because I know what's happening. Did that ever happen to you?
Oh, yes. I bet we're talking about the same people. Yes, I feel like there's most roundtables go super well, and there's no issues. Everyone kind of takes turns, and everyone's really respectful. Occasionally, you get two problems. One would be the table, like you were saying, where someone dominates every question, and it's like right after another, and you're like, okay, there's 10 of us here. Like, give us a chance to ask our questions. And then there's also the opposite of that is I've been at tables where it's painfully quiet and no one's asking questions. And then you ask questions, but then you're out of your questions and no one else is contributing. And you're like, someone say something. It's awkward. That doesn't happen as often as the first scenario, but roundtables are interesting that way.
They sure are. And to give our viewers and listeners a kind of a roundtable 101, roundtables are where we go to different press rooms and we may have one or two of the talent from the show sitting with about maybe 5 to 7 different journalists there, and we ask different questions. Some people are for print, some people are from audio, and they're trying to get some questions in. And sometimes somebody just dominates conversation, and like Miranda says, I've been in a couple too where everybody's looking at each other like, okay, who's going to say the next question? And me, I'm like the oddball. I'm like, hey, so tell me, how's your con going? So all you journalists out there who maybe this is your first con that you're covering, that's always the icebreaker. How's your con? Did you see the guy dressed up as Princess Leia? Did you see the guy dressed up as Wonder Woman? Did you see this? Did you see that? That's always icebreakers, right, Miranda?
Yes, exactly. And, a lot of press will cosplay too, so that can be an icebreaker sometimes as well. You might be sitting next to a Princess Leia or sitting next to a Gandalf or something like that. So press get into it as well. And that's a lot of times a good icebreaker. The talent really loves that.
And Miranda, that's one thing that, when we look at covering events like Comic-Con and being around like some of these shows out there, it always seems that there's always something that comes out of there that kind of blows us away. Like, wow, we had no idea that was going to come out of left field. And when it comes to like covering like bombshells that may come out of a press room, do you feel the need to like, okay, we got to get this out here now, just get it out there because this is a bombshell, we want to get it out there per se than just regular news of what's going on coming up in the next season?
Yeah, definitely. If there's something that is revealed that's a huge bombshell, that's something I'm going to prioritize. Like, get this up, or even just sending out a tweet about it, just so that, you can kind of be one of the first ones to reveal that information.
And Miranda, your website, Hollywood News Source, you guys cover TV, film, I'm looking right now, books, music, theater, and also exclusive. And what are some of the shows that you cover? Because we know we talked about The 100, we talked about Supergirl. What are some other shows that you guys write about?
We cover all kinds of shows. There's several writers on our website. So yeah, we cover Riverdale, Supergirl, Gotham, The 100, Prison Break, Once Upon a Time, Walking Dead, all kinds of shows. The list goes on.
Yeah, anything exclusive you want to share with us? You guys growing to other avenues? You want to give us a nice little juicy scoop, or do we have to wait and see whenever the album or the mic drops?
I guess you'll have to wait because I don't have anything yet, but there's been some ideas trickling around in my head. But as of now, nothing's come to fruition just yet.
Awesome. Well, Miranda, we've talked about your website, some of the great things about it. Now, how can ones go check it out? What's the web address? Are you on Twitter or social media? What you guys got for us?
Yeah, so we are on, our web address is www.hollywoodnewssource.com. Our Twitter handle is at hnewssource. Our name is too long. We're one character short, so we had to abbreviate it to hnewssource. Instagram is just at Hollywood News Source, and Tumblr is just at Hollywood News Source. We have a Facebook page as well. I don't know the URL, but I think if you just type in Hollywood News Source, it'll be the first one that pops up.
Yes, make sure you check out the site. Some great information, and also make sure you follow me on social media too. You might see a couple of pictures of Miranda and I just chilling, doing our posing and everything in the different press rooms and things like that. And Miranda, before I let you go, anything else you'd like to bring up to the audience or the viewers out there about Comic-Con or some of the things that you guys are doing on your website?
I don't have anything right now. Just stay tuned for all of our Comic-Con coverage. We will be Instagramming and tweeting and putting things up on Facebook, live during Comic-Con, and getting up all those videos and content as soon as possible as well. So just keep checking in. Comic-Con is huge. Just going on Twitter and searching Comic-Con, your mind's going to be blown with how much is happening there. So just stay tuned.
Absolutely. And we look forward to having Miranda back on with us post Comic-Con, and we'll talk about some of our strange stories. And I guess it's kind of like Vegas, right? What's done in Comic-Con stays at Comic-Con, right?
What happens at Comic-Con stays at Comic-Con.
Yeah. It gets kind of wild out there. But Miranda, it's been an honor talking to you, my dear, and having you on. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so glad that you accepted the invitation, and you did not disappoint, my dear.
Oh, thank you. I'm usually not in front of the camera. I'm usually behind the camera, so this has been a difference for me.
Well, all I got to say, would look like that girl, you need to get in front of the camera. That's all I'm saying. I'd like to thank Miranda once again for joining me. She's going to be joining me quite a bit on the Tech Zone, talking about some entertainment things that are going on. And she has a real cool last name, doesn't she? I crack myself up doing that. But Miranda Kuhl, enjoyed talking to her. Looking forward to seeing her at Comic-Con 2017. And looking forward to having you join me in our coverage out there. We'll be live out there, so you don't want to miss some of the great things coming out of there. Wow, time flies. It's time for me to make like a tree and get out of here, in the words of Biff Tannen from Back to the Future. Not future. But until then, I'll talk to you soon. Remember, turn someone's frown into a smile and love those who are unable to love themselves. Till next time, take care, folks.